Coming up in today's episode, we take a look at Eureka Miniatures and their World War II Australian offerings. We're also going to discuss what my plans are with these models and take a look at how these models paint up. If you're in the market for some World War II Pacific action, more specifically 15mm miniatures, stick around as you won't be disappointed. Hi guys, welcome to my latest unboxing and review video. Today we're going to be looking at Eureka Miniatures, specifically some 15mm World War II Australians from their Pacific range. So they've got a whole bunch of different Pacific themed miniatures that you can purchase, from Japanese to Chinese to Gurkhas to Australians, etc. But we'll look at all of that in a little bit. I just want to give you a bit of a backdrop as to why I decided to purchase these. I've been really wanting to base a sort of an army around the 14th Army in Burma and India, as they sort of struggled for control of the border between India and Burma, and then the offensive operations against the Japanese towards the latter part of the war. So with that in mind, I thought I want to go down the Chindit route, or at least have a platoon for Chindits. And I was scrolling Google, as you do, trying to find some sort of models that might make a good representation of that, and I stumbled across the Eureka Australians. So they're they're modelled for Australians, but I'm going to be using them as Chindits, but I've sort of painted them so you can use them as both, I guess. So just quickly, you can see that I've got some based here. We'll have a look at how they come, obviously unpainted, and what you sort of get, what the box or the bag looks like. But there's quite a few here painted. I'm going to be releasing a video next week on how I painted these, so if you're interested in that, definitely like and subscribe, and that will be posted next week. But yeah, let's take a quick look at what you get when you first order them, and then we can go through and look at some photos and all of that good stuff. Okay, so this is what you will get. So you can see there's all these clear bags, and I'm sure they're reflecting nicely on the camera. But you'll receive a little package from Eureka, and it will contain your models and the model code that goes with it. So as you can see, we've got quite a few different types of model codes here. Majority of these have got tin helmets on, so I wanted to avoid the helmet if I could. I wanted the slouch hat, which is quite common with the 14th Army, and especially the Chindits. So I think I overcommitted here, but that's fine. I'll paint these up in the future, I'm sure. But let's have a quick look. Oh, one thing to note as well is you also receive a freebie. So this isn't the first time I've bought from Eureka. I've actually bought their 28mm models before, and I know that they've done this in the past, but I thought maybe it was just a one-off because it's the first time ordering through them. But no, it seems to be every time you order something you get a freebie. So this looks like an American Marine, perhaps. I don't think they have paratroopers, although his helmet looks like it could be like that. But no, I think it's definitely a Marine. And yeah, so, you know, sort of makes me want to purchase the Marines now. So thanks very much for that one. So let's go ahead and open one of these bags. So let's get all this reflective light off the camera, because I know it's pretty bloody annoying. And we'll open up this bag. So just rip the bloody sucker open. We'll slide these out. So we've got two models here. We've got a chap with a Thompson and another one with an Owen gun. So for those that don't know what an Owen gun is, it's pretty much a Sten gun, but the magazine is vertical opposed to horizontal, and it's an Australian design. So obviously the Chindits wouldn't have had this, but being an Australian model, I can see why they had. I actually quite like the Owen gun, so I'm definitely going to throw these in, because like I said, I'm going to use these as Chindits, but I'll also use them as Aussies as well, just sort of throw them, just depending on how I feel on the day. So let's try and get a better look at the quality. So we'll take a look at the guy with the Thompson. Alright, so hopefully that's coming through quite nicely. So my first initial thoughts when I received these models was they're fantastic. There's very little cleanup that's actually required. There's the usual sort of flash when we're talking about metal models, and you can see that there's a bit of something here that needs to be chopped off, and there's a bit of sanding or filing that needs to be done, but overall really good detail. If we're actually looking at the model, they come with a lot of extras. So they've got the bags on, they've another sort of satchel, canteen, they've got their ammunition pouches, all the straps, their helmet's a good detail, face is pretty good detail. If I can pick that up, it's really hard, my camera's not the best, so these review videos aren't going to be the best that you're going to find on YouTube, but hopefully you can sort of tell. So yeah, very little cleanup, really nice. It's a very soft sort of metal as well, so I have been creating some models. This is a Battlefront base, so that's why you'll see that, but I want to create a medic. So this guy is a radio operator that I'm going to be pretending that he's got a sort of bag that he's opening up. This guy was from the light mortar team that they offer. So he's just going to be attending to the wounded guy, and this is just one of their infantry that I've bent his leg and filed down his back a bit and bent his arm. So very easy. There was very little work involved with that. I've also bent a few of the hats just to, you know, give them a bit of variety. Let's see if I can show you what I mean. So like this brain gunner here, I've bent his hat. So just to, you know, change it up a little bit. Really easy to do. All right, there's absolutely no effort involved with them at all. So it's a sturdy metal, but it's soft enough that you can just get a pair of tweezers on there or pliers and just bend it into whatever shape that you want. So if we want to have a quick look at what I've actually painted, and then you'll get an idea of what will be coming up next week. Obviously these are in the process of being based, but you'll get an idea. So hopefully it picks up quite nicely, but they've come out really nicely. They were super easy to paint. Like I said before, lots of detail. You can add on detail, so I think I added on a watch or something on a few of them, and bandages, etc., just to give them sort of that worn vibe, because the Chindits were long penetration groups, so they would go behind enemy lines and try and disrupt like the Japanese communications, transport, whatever. So they were in the jungle for long periods of time without much support. The only support they really had was air resupply and the occasional air evacuation if they built a temporary runway somewhere. But apart from that, there was very little that they relied on. Definitely no like tanks or anything. But because it's going to be a larger army, I'm going to just use these as one platoon, and then I'm going to paint up some Gurkhas next, I think. But yeah, very happy with these. If you're like me and you like to convert your model, so I bought a Japanese officer and I wanted to put his arm, because he had his sword out, his arm on another miniature. We'll have a quick look at that. Okay, so this is the model I converted. It's based loosely off Lieutenant George Carnes. He won the VC, I think in 1944. He led or was part of an assault on Japanese positions, or fortified positions, and during that engagement he had his arm pretty much severed off. It was hanging on by either a bit of muscle or the cloth of his shirt, his left arm, and he managed to kill the Japanese officer that was trying to kill him, then continue with his arm pretty much dangling down with the Japanese officer's sword and slice his way through some Japanese infantry before the Chindits took the position, and then he later passed away when obviously the assault had finished. So, well, really just a badass, but unfortunately he lost his life for it, and a very deserving recipient of the Victoria Cross, but I thought I'd honour him in some way. Unfortunately, I did a bit of a balls up on it, and this Japanese arm that's actually on there is slightly bigger than the rest of the model, so he looks like he's got a super arm. This is a Gurkha miniature that Eureka offer, and I think the Gurkha miniatures are slightly smaller than the Japanese and the Australian models. So I'm going to attempt to do this again. I'm going to keep the model just in case, because from a distance you can't really tell, but up close, or if you're a perfectionist, you really wouldn't be too happy. So I think using the Chindit and Japanese arm combo for the conversion will work great, so I'll try that one. Unfortunately, I binned the Japanese miniature that I chopped the arm off, so I can't show you that, but again, very nice miniature. They're all really nice, just the Gurkha's just a touch smaller. That's my only complaint. Now, just quickly, I reached out to Eureka Miniatures and I just said, hey, look, I'm going to be doing a review video. Is there anything you want to say or want me to comment on about this line? Are you going to be expanding it or anything like that? They said no, they don't have any plans to do it at the moment, but they did ask me what I would like to see improved or like sort of added on to, and obviously without saying, you know, I'd like to see every single faction that was in the Pacific and then let's move on to Europe and Africa and everything else. I just said expanding the line that they've currently got. So the models are awesome, but they're very limited. So if you're playing, depending on what system that you're playing, will depend on how many miniatures you need. So if you like variety in your miniatures, you know, you sort of have to manipulate them a little bit. Like I said, mess around with the hats or paint one with a watch or with a wound, just so it gives it a bit of variety. But he said that Nick, I believe it was, said that he would reach out to the sculptor and let him know my feedback. So, you know, something might come of it. If you support them, guys, and if it's something you've wanted to dabble in the Pacific, just to paint, even if you're not going to game there, with that sort of theme, just to paint, any support for this range will help to increase it. And I'm not sponsored by these. They didn't send these to me for free to review. These are something I stumbled across and wanted to buy, but they're that good. I think that we should definitely get around them. So if you haven't checked them out, check out Eureka Miniatures. I'll leave their link in the description. And you know, you don't have to go with the Australians. There's the Chinese there, which is, you know, very unusual. There's the Gurkhas and everything else. I'll now be giving you a sneak peek of the painting tutorial that will be coming up, and then that will be the end of the video. So yeah, I really appreciate you guys hanging around. Stick around for the sneak peek, and I will catch you next week with the painting tutorial. Thanks, guys. Bye.